Yo, it's Hublo back with another video. I'm here back with you guys again for another weekly recap. So this week we're going to be going through the trades that we took for the week. Um, I'm going to kind of go through the chart and not the chat this week, only because there's certain things that I just didn't put in the chat. We just live traded this week. So everything that we took was live on our Discord. We traded live on the Discord. So I didn't really post anything besides the end results of how those trades went from the live calls. So we're going to start out with EU for the week. I did end up seeing, we got some breaker structures here on EU. It did look promising originally, but it did end up taking us out right here. This small wick took us out. You know, Price kind of consolidated in between these areas here, but we did get a execution here after the 15-minute break, and then price kind of just came and took us out here. After price kind of took us out here, I was just kind of like waiting and seeing if we could get another push. But once I saw price kind of like push down again, I really wasn't like interested in it. Um, but price was still sustaining, so I was like, okay, like at least if we get a buy stop activation here, I'll be in a good position to get in. Price just never came back here until close to like the end of the week. So just really wasn't interested in trading it. Just kind of did a lot this week, but it still was within the higher time frame POI. So it is what it is. We just couldn't get it to do what we wanted it to do this week, and that's totally fine. Same thing with GU. We didn't take any trades on it at all. So just kind of like went right through the POI, the point of interest, kind of like collecting all this downward liquidity here. So once it collected that, I was definitely seeing for it to possibly come up, which you can see that it did. But I just really wasn't interested in trading it, just because I was either already in positions or it just didn't react in my point of interest the way I would like it to. So I just wasn't interested in it. NZD USD, we were in this earlier week position where I saw a nice continuation sell possibly coming down to this 50% to then go up. We were in this trade. I did break even on this trade and ended up coming back and taking me out at break even, which I was totally fine with. That's just the name of the game. I knew it wasn't long term, so that's the reason why I went break even on it, and it could do whatever. And this is what whatever looks like. So we did have some high impact news, after that. So I really wasn't, messing with it too much. And then I did see that we obviously just had this POI area here. So once it created these support levels here, and price kept bouncing off this area, I knew that was a point of liquidity, which market would come clap and then go to areas where we wanted it to go. So I had a buy stop here at the top just in case it just kind of flew up. And then I had also a limit here to where if it came down and came up, then I would be activated. So, but just never happened. Once it hit Friday, I knew it wasn't possibly going to happen. We did have some high impact news, so I was expecting to kind of do a dip and then come up or blast up, but none of that happened. Sometimes NZD USD, you'll get lucky on Fridays and you'll see like some amazing moves on it. But yes, we had Euro AUD. Man, I just wasn't patient this week, man. I just wasn't patient. I was so ready to capitalize on this move because I knew it was going to happen that I ended up getting in out of our session in this area. And because of high impact news coming in here, I ended up cutting the trade. Probably to my benefit because my stop loss was down here. So depending on spread at the time and depending on how fast this move came down, it could have definitely took me out and possibly put a big dent into the account. So cutting your losses is not always a bad thing. So I just kind of like cut it just because I saw, kind of like how price was flowing. We didn't get a close above here. And then, I was just like looking at my phone. I usually don't even like look at, the trade, like stalking the trades, especially because I have like certain confirmations and things like that. And that's kind of how I knew I had to cut it because like I was anxious. So, usually I'm not like, especially lately, like I'm just not anxious when I'm trading. So that was just like a big thing when it comes to just this position. Like it just let me know that I just wasn't patient on the actual setup itself. And I was waiting for the hour cross, which I should have just waited because it came, perfectly at 12 p.m. after news already had happened. So there was a lot of contributing factors that let me know that, hey, like you just got to cut this position, because we did break up here. We respected this structure, but then we didn't make another close above. And that definitely made me skeptical. So yeah, definitely with just this angle of being pushed down and also the high impact news coming up. And then with this push up, I was activated for some of my bigger positions that I had waiting. It just wasn't a good situation to be in at the time. And it was out of my session. And I was just like, yeah, I just told my chat I was just going to cut the trade. And we are just going to regroup in the morning to see, what we can get. We did end up, catching this move here. I added on some positions. I had one of my biggest positions at the height of it, which I did end up cutting at break even because I just felt like I was just in for too much at the highs. I was definitely correct at the time because we got this big push down um, later on. And then it kind of just like respected this MA and just blasted up, even more all the way up into TP. So I was able to take partials here, which we left $600 on the table, really $1,000 to TP on the table, that we left on the table just to kind of like complete the move. But most of my positions were here at this break even area. I kind of lowered my stop loss even more after taking partials to break even to all my positions because I just felt like if it was going to play out, it was just going to play out. And if it wasn't, it was just going to come all the way back. So it didn't come all the way back and ended up taking out my positions at break even. A lot of my confirmations for this buy initially was just how price just came down into the support area and started to accumulate. One thing I definitely will watch out for next time is the 4 hour to close above and just to, be patient in that sense. So really when it comes to, and it's, you could do this the same way for sales as well. So you can see like how, this momentum looks like it's getting weak and it looks like it's about to sell, but really the sell isn't confirmed until it closes below a structure and then the sell gets confirmed. So just like this one. So we had just this area here. We had a push down, push up, a push down, push here. And then we end up getting that push up, which allowed us to then be able to get that close above. And once we get that close above, it allows us to get into certain positions that, we were waiting for. So yeah, definitely that close above was definitely, yeah, it was definitely what we needed to wait for, that close above on the 4 hour. And then also after that, we end up getting that buy signal here. So that's just so important to just wait for those things and just be just slightly a bit patient. I was a little bit aggressive only because, a lot of the other pairs that we were trading, like I said, wasn't giving us what we needed. And then also just trying to capitalize on the account for the week and come back from unnecessary losses as well. We did take another unnecessary loss here. We had a buy stop here, a sell stop, I'm sorry, here from the resistance area for the week. And it just wasn't a good look, man. It just wasn't a good look. I did end up seeing that, we rejected twice here. So I did have I did have it here. And then as you can see, as we got activated here, I was basically buying at all the indicators was giving me sell at the time. Sell, sell, sell. It's like, okay, my structure, my bias, everything is giving me, sell except, this time frame here, which, this is just another form of just being patient for the week. And yeah, it just wasn't, the best when it came to just being patient this week. So boom, I forgot that I had a POI up here. I could have sworn when we won this trade, because we originally won this trade um, coming down, and I did, collect profits and whatnot. So just with this wick here, I thought price was kind of like done with this area until I like really analyzed it a little bit more and realized that price never came back to this area. And I was like, oh man, I just didn't realize as price started to like bring me into the negative, I started to really like understand that. And I was just like, wow, like I should have been just a little bit more patient, or put my sell stop just a little bit lower just to activate that position. But literally once it hit this area, we just got this big push down, ended up going like 90 pips. And yeah, I was like kicking myself, 'cause I was like, wow, like just a little bit more patience, man. You would have been there. But we did end up getting that cross on the 30 a little late. So the only signal that would have been early, I believe, was the 5 minute. But I usually don't really execute off the five anyway, really. It's just, yeah, but it was definitely beautiful because it came here, got that breaker structure on the 5 minute, and then it came back into this whole push area. And that would have been textbook. Like I was looking at it, but I just didn't want to chase it. It just felt like, FOMO to me. Um, every time I lose a trade and I end up, trying to like get back in, or like if I feel the sense that, I'm just getting back in just to try to get some get back, I just don't take it, even if it does look, good to me, because at the same time, it's all about, you being disciplined, and you just, learning exactly what you need to do to stay consistent over time. So I definitely saw another POI here on the higher time frame as well that it just blasted up to. So I definitely saw that we could get some breaker structures here and possibly sell again. I definitely was patient on this sell for sure. But as we started to trend down, we got that break on the hour. We finally got certain signals that let us know that we were going to be selling. I did get into this originally. I was in profits for a bit, but I ended up cutting it due to it being Friday, and just me not wanting to like hold things over the weekend. Dealing with prop firms and whatnot. Like some, I think they do have a rule where you can trade over the weekend, but I just like to keep the account safe, because you just never know with these prop firms, with them always like changing rules, and like if you're not staying up to date with your email and stuff like that, things could change really quickly. And then when it comes to like your payout time, you're requesting a payout, and then they're telling you that, hey, like you traded over the weekend, so you can't get your money. And it's just um, very unfortunate. Some of the rules that end up coming out sometimes are just things that you were unaware of when it comes to like your payout time, and you don't get paid out, and it kind of puts a bad taste in your mouth. So you just want to make sure that you just do the things that are necessary to not only pass the account, but to get that payout and get your refund back. And just do just the necessary things, the daily disciplines every day, to make sure you're doing everything in the account to be successful. So definitely, this is definitely, another trade that I would look forward to. We got some inner liquidity here, got some 50% here on the higher time frame. So that's definitely one that I would look out for, to come collect and then, make that big move up. It's probably going to just wick this area to respect this structure, so then it can move up, since we already broke this structure here. But yeah, we're definitely going to see how market opens up and see, what it has in store for us for the week. I am going to be putting a markup, how I mark up my charts, in the Discord, the exclusive content section. You have to be a Blue Label member in order to see it, but if you upgrade your package, you could definitely, be able to see how I chart up my charts and how I'm able to be so precise, and why I put the high impact news, on my charts, why I put the support and resistance, and how does it play into, how I utilize, my strategy, and everything that I use, on my charts, and how I go about using it. So definitely, if you guys like this video, definitely feel free to like, subscribe, um, put a comment below. And if you haven't joined our Discord yet, what are you waiting for, man? We got weekly live trades every week. We're hitting profits every week. We're at least catching at least 100 pips a week. That could change your life, especially if you're a beginner or an inconsistent trader. Even with the losses, we still come up on top for the week. We started off the week last week with $1,900 in the account. This week we'll be starting with $1,100 in the account, so only a $800 difference from the prior week. But we look forward to capitalizing in the week. We use very good risk management. We only won 2 trades this week, but we lost 3. So we're using very good risk management, as you can see, because we're not far off from where we started off in the week, and we're just looking to capitalize before the payout at the end of this week. So if this video definitely helped you, definitely like, subscribe again. And I'm Hublo, and I'm out.